Kagekid Creative presents. One day, as I was riding the 6 train from Pelham Bay Park to Hunts Point Avenue, roughly a 30 to 45 minute ride depending on the day, I watched a guy from beginning to end try to roll up a blunt between 2 train cars. It was close to the beginning of December of 2018, so it was pretty cold and windy. I watched as he, with no grinder, ripped apart his nug of weed, watched tiny pieces of it fly away, the look on his face as he attempted over and over while trying to keep his footing as he tried to roll his blunt, and the biggest struggle of them all, which was trying to light his blunt as the wind repeatedly wiped his fire out cold. We locked eyes a couple of times, and he must have thought I was a creep or something because I was genuinely interested in what was going on. But even more so, the one question on my mind I wanted to ask was, what struggle are you going through that makes all of this necessary? After he finished his whole blunt, he went into the car opposite of mine, and my curiosity almost made me go ask him the question that was on my mind, but I chickened out in fear of looking like a real creep to a stranger. I regretted not talking to that guy that day, so much that it inspired the concept of this film. I knew there were others like that guy on the 6 train, so I gathered up some actors that smoked and put this together. I wanted to know the stories of random potheads, not my friends, and the influence of marijuana had on them. Enjoy. Tell me your name and a little bit about yourself.
My name is Cameron. I am a student at NYU. I am 19 years old. I love cats, play piano, and I also like produce music and stuff.
Hi, I'm Andrew. My favorite noise is the Velociraptor sound from the first Jurassic Park, and I like to meow.
Okay, Andy Brisman. I'm trying to be an actor. One thing about myself is my flexible fingers. They snap too. Bet you wish you could do that, America, but some of you probably can, but most of you can't. That's why you can't be me. I'm Andy Brisman.
My name is Kristoff Charles. I'm based in Queens, New York. I'm an actor and model. I just, want to get out there more and, follow my dreams.
My name is Damien. My homies call me Waldo. I am from Brooklyn, but I live in Staten Island, New York. I am an entrepreneur, a freelance model, an avid skateboarder, a heavy smoker, an advocate for marijuana, and I would consider myself to be funny, a good, kind-hearted person, but I'm also a New Yorker, so I have a horrible temper and a potty mouth to manage.
So my name is Issac Corner. I am an actor and been acting in New York for about 12 months. So my parents were traveling hippies for the most part, so that meant traveling around the country most of my life. So most of my childhood was Oregon for the most part, and lived in Pennsylvania a few different times because that's where my family settled, and then I think of California as home because I spent more time in one place in San Diego than anywhere else. I'm a cultural creative.
What's up? I'm Morgan. I'm 23 years old. I'm a model. I love all things that are creative, art, music, dancing, pretty much into it all. really outgoing, really spontaneous.
I'm a Pisces. I love nature, spirituality, astrology. I love comic books, superhero stuff, you know, anything fun, creativity, art, and yeah, having fun, having a good time, experiencing life and learning.
What made you want to start smoking?
I'm not sure anything really made me want to start. It was more, I didn't like to drink, so weed was more fun than drinking. And my friends were smoking, more so than drinking in high school, so that's why. The first time I smoked, I was with my brother and his frat friends, and me and him were smoking a little bowl. They didn't get high, but the first time I got high, I was with my best friend, and we were in a gazebo in our front yard, and we were smoking our bong, and we were thinking that, wow, this got me high, I should keep smoking bongs.
I had kind of been interested in weed for most of my senior year of high school, and then I was in a relationship with this guy who was like a hardcore stoner. And one day, when I got home from a trip that I took in like February, he was like, "Oh, you should smoke for the first time with me. It'd be fun." So I was like, "Okay." So I got a joint for my friend. I smoked by crawling out of my window, lighting the joint. It took like 5 hits, and I was gone, like literally gone, forever. I threw up, but it was so fun.
You know, you always hear about drugs first from the DARE program, because if you think about what the DARE program is, they kind of come in around like 5th grade, tell you what drugs are, and tell you they're terrible. And you usually have that mindset for a few. I'm from the suburbs, so this is what happens in the suburbs anyways. So you won't really know what drugs are until like 5th grade, when somebody tells you they're like the worst thing ever. So you're like, alright, I guess I'll never do drugs. But then you get to like 8th or 9th grade, and then it's like, hey, like my older brother said, drugs actually, like weed doesn't kill you, like it's actually kind of cool. You're like, wait, what? I thought they were bad, what? And they're like, nah, like they're actually awesome.
I started smoking in high school. I just wanted to try it, give it a shot. You know, friends say, you know, you should try it. You know, I didn't like the smell at first, you know, but you know, I tried it and I just kept smoking. I was outside with my friends at a little gazebo. It was like a little gazebo area, and after school, people used to smoke weed and everything like that. And I just smoked it the first time. I was like, wow, this is, you know, I just kept smoking ever since I got high my first time.
Peer pressure. Peer pressure is the reason I started smoking. Actually, I smoked, well, I didn't smoke, I hit my first blunt a block and a half away from where we are right now. I didn't really like inhale it, I just like rolled it around in my mouth kind of like a cigar and just like just wasted somebody's weed. Like you're supposed to like, you know, inhale that, hit it like a cigar. But a couple years after that, I wouldn't say a couple years, I want to say maybe like a year, I moved to Staten Island and I was hanging out with some homies. I was about 14, 15 years old at the time, and they were just like, do you want to smoke? Never done it at the time. I was like, yeah, sure. You want to smoke? You know, they taught me, I did exactly what I did with the blunt. When I first smoked, I rolled it around in my mouth and I was just wasting the weed. And I was like, no, you gotta like learn. You gotta inhale twice. And I got high. And I liked it. And I've been smoking every day since.
I love life, and so I want to know more about it. And when I was really young and friends were doing all kinds of different things, I wanted to experiment. So the first thing I was curious about was alcohol. I was a football player at the time, so I would ask the guys that were inviting me to parties, what happens when I drink? Well, you're going to lose your inhibitions, you might wake up with someone you don't know, and you're going to feel horrible the next day. So that was kind of my MO with anything I was about to try. And for the most part, it was just hippie stuff. I was never interested in the hard stuff, the very popular hard stuff too. So with weed, I asked the guys that were always sitting on the couch watching Beavis and Butthead or whatever at parties, what happens when you smoke this stuff? And they said, well, everything's funny. Sometimes you laugh a lot. Sometimes you don't talk at all. And sometimes you get really, really hungry. And okay, I can handle that. But when it came down to actually smoking, the first 3 times I tried smoking, nothing happened. And yeah, it was like the 3rd or 4th time I tried it, and something happened and it worked.
What made me want to start smoking? Honestly, my curiosity. Because I'm one of the people where I'm very open-minded. So if I hear about something I've never really tried before, as long as it's not going to like kill me, I'm going to probably try it, you know. So it was one of those things where I was like, there's a lot of good to it. And then there's supposed bad to it. Let me see for myself so I can make my own decision. So I tried it with my friends. I mean, should I say how I first smoked?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so first time I smoked. Here we go. You ready? All right, so I was in college. I never smoked before, and nobody could believe it. Because, I mean, I just have a really quirky personality, so I guess everyone expected of me. But I had never smoked before. I grew up in a very Christian household. My parents were pastors, so were my grandparents and my other grandparents, aunts, uncles, all ministers. So shout out to my family. If you're watching this, I'm sorry. I know you don't like that I smoke so much. But yeah, so I never smoked before. Basically, my friends were like, well, we're about to smoke. If you want to, you can smoke with us. You just, need to be smart, careful about it, know your limits, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool. So we go in the car, and we start smoking together. And it's kind of like a hot box type of situation. And we get partway through, and they're like, do you feel it? And I just turned around, and everyone said, I guess I looked like a jack-o'-lantern, because my teeth were just like I just turned around to everyone like this. And they were just like, yeah, she's high. And that was basically my first experience smoking. It was cool.
What is the craziest thing you've done to get high?
Well, you said high, you mean high on weed probably, so. Probably the craziest way was with a light bulb though. We make these light bulb vaporizers. You just hollow out the light bulb and then put the weed in and then light like a candle and then put the light bulb over the candle and then the weed gets vaporized, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, probably that one.
Craziest thing I did to get high. Okay, it would have to be scavenging. Scavenging in my room. So basically what I did was, I used to always save my stems. So I had a container that was full of stems, and then I know that I smoke so much, like, I'm a stoner, so I was like, I have to have weed somewhere in this room, like, it has to be. So I turned into Inspector Gadget, and I'm looking around my room. I'm in all the crevices, all the corners, behind the radiator, like, I'm everywhere. I'm finding like little baby morsels of weed. I picked them all up. It took me so long. I probably took like a good 30 minutes to scavenge my room. Because I wanted to smoke and I had no money, and I'm like, I just want to be high. And I finally collected like what looked like a reasonable little, stash to me. And then I took the time to break up all the stems so they were small enough that they wouldn't break a leaf. And by the time I did that, I had enough for a blunt. By this time, it's probably been like an hour and a half maybe. And then I start to roll it, get it all together. And I probably took like, I want to say an hour, 45 minutes or so doing this, almost 2 hours. And I had my blunt. And it did work. It did get me high, but it was a scavenger blunt. It was so funny. There was probably like a baby dust bunny in there. I don't think I'll ever do that again.
Craziest thing I've ever done to get high is probably have sex with someone to get high. Not necessarily like the act of sex to get me high, but like smoking was resolved afterwards. Otherwise I made like crappy makeshift grab bongs with little plastic bottles, tin foil, that never really worked out too well. Okay, so the craziest thing is I burned a hole in a water bottle and put a joint in it, and then smoked the joint through that. but most of what I tasted was just burnt and melted plastic, so I would not recommend it.
To get high, I think I took a train to the city, and there was a guy I knew that had that really, really good weed, that really, really good ass weed. So I went to the train, took it, and I went all the way back home, which is an hour away, to smoke. I took the E train all the way down to the city, so it took like an hour and 20 minutes. So I just came from home. I was like, all right, so I'm just gonna. I had no weed man at the time, so I had to like just go all the way down to the city and just smoke some weed.
What is the craziest thing I've done to get high? Probably one of the more tame answers you're going to hear. That would be scraping my bowl so I can smoke res. I've not done anything crazy to get high at all.
Sold my video games. Everybody sold their video games. I stole video games from Walmart, sold them to GameStop. I had a specific list of games to go into Walmart and Jack, or go to GameStop, get me the maximum amount of money, and go smoke. Or buy me a dime or a dub, which really isn't that much. You know, considering the risk I was taking, definitely should try to go and get more. Low point in my life, stole from my mom's purse, received a thorough ass whipping, and you know, some stern looks. Never do that again. But yeah, I've done some bad things to get high.
I have not done like insanely crazy things to get high. I've definitely hooked up with guys for their weed, and I've used like bad rolling papers, and like I didn't have a grinder, so I just broke it up with fingers. But yeah, I've never done like crazy stuff for it.
What is the craziest thing you've done while being high?
Craziest thing I did while being high. Well, I made my own high movie. It was like really interesting. I basically took the time to like sit down and write like a quick mini script. Well, like just to kind of give me a guide. I didn't write all the lines out, but some basic starting lines, some mid lines, ending lines, you know. And then after that, I got outfits together. I rummaged through my clothes. I got out 2 outfits, one that was kind of more feminine, one more masculine. And there were 2 characters, 2 main characters, only 2 people in it, both women. So one's like hitting on the other girl, but she doesn't really notice, but there's like really crazy outlandish things going on the whole time. And yeah, so I'm like changing between clothes, going back and forth. Like I have my tripod set up with my phone, and I'm like really sitting here pretending to be 2 people, different voices and everything. There's a really wild twist at the end that could be inappropriate. So I was like, oh, I never released it.
I don't think there's anything really crazy I've done. I mean, the craziest stuff I've done has been while I was sober. So I really enjoy sobriety, which is one of the reasons why I like weed, because it's the end of the night after I've had an adventure through life, and then I can wind down. So it's kind of like, it's meditative in a lot of ways. So yeah, the crazy stuff in my life has been when I was sober. It's one of the reasons I became a skydiver, hang glider, scuba diver actor, is because I love the rush of adrenaline and endorphins that you get from those activities. And when I was younger, I didn't know you could do it in a legal, safe way. I thought you had to do something crazy. So that was jumping off bridges and getting arrested when I was 17, because you're not supposed to jump off that bridge and into the water. I was kind of had a death wish when I was younger. I was trying to do as much crazy stuff as possible. And as I got older, I wanted to experience those feelings as well, but I didn't really want to die. And so I did them in ways that people had tried and true, tested over the course of a lot of time. So while high, not a lot of crazy stuff, honestly. I'm a spiritual person, so weed is just a way for me to kind of tap into that part of myself.
So, I was about 16 years old, and I lived fairly close, maybe about a block and a half away from an easily accessible roof. I'm not supposed to go up there, but it was fun to do anyway. And this night, I talked, my little brother was about 14, and our homie, who was the same age as me, into going with me. My little brother was about, when I was 16, I was pretty much built the same way I am now. I could do it, no problem. My little brother was 14 and built like a linebacker, like hefty, like round. I used to poke his stomach, it was funny. And our homie, who was like supersized version of my brother, like built like a door, like big, no neck having, just watermelon sized fists, like huge dude. I'm still homies with him now. And he had no business trying to climb this roof. None whatsoever. So we go to the roof. We get up there, we gotta climb through some bushes. It's like, you're not supposed to go up there, but there's a way to get up there. We found that out. We get on the roof, and I don't tell either one of them how to get off. I just show them. And the only way to get off this roof is to jump. Now you gotta jump. You gotta clear like 10 feet in distance. And it's like, no, it's 10 feet in height and 5 feet gap, 5 foot gap to get to the safe zone. Well, the roof is about a story off the ground. And you gotta clear like 6 feet, give or take. I run, I jump, and I tell them, this is how you gotta get down. So I convinced my little brother to do it. He does it pretty easily. But then we got a big homie. And you know what's bad? When the first thing that comes out of his mouth is, yo bro, I don't think I'm gonna make it. He's still this big to this day, by the way. Fucking huge. And I tell him, you know, run. Go all the way back as far as you can and run. Just run as fast as you can, and you'll catch enough speed, you'll be able to clear it, you know, gravity won't fuck you over, dude. I shouldn't have told him. Should have got this man a ladder. Because as soon as he ran, gravity took the wheel and he went straight down to his face and was knocked out cold for like 2 to 3 minutes. Just slumped. I peed my pants laughing so hard before helping my friend on the floor crying. That was a great day. Now, we'll flash forward to when I'm about 18 or 19. I got observed. I didn't get caught, because nobody called the cops. I finished. I was observed, or looked at, witnessed, or whatever you want to say, having sex at a construction site on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, which was a good thing, because if homie didn't look out, I wasn't getting those cheeks. Was not. Mine had a free crib. She lived all the way in White Plains, New York. There was nowhere to go. I was struggling to find a spot to bust this nut. And the construction dude that saw me let it rock. To this day, I credit him with allowing me to be able to obtain those cheeks. I was super smacked that day too.
My car is 6 shifts, so crazy thing while being high, I was in Florida and I drove, me and my friends, we just drove like 150 miles in the highway, and we just kept driving. It was the craziest night ever. Now we were swerving, we were skirting, there was cops around, so we still didn't care. We drove a lot, we drove like a long way. So we went to a place called Steak and Shake. We ate some food while high, and we just went home after that.
Well, I've done some crazy things. I don't know. So there's one time in school where all right. So when I mix the weed with tobacco, right, it kind of makes me have to shit almost every time. So most of the time I'll smoke, I'll go immediately to the bathroom, and then like sometimes when I first started smoking, I would just get so high, and when I would wipe like so fast that like some of the shit would get on like the rim of the toilet seat, and like, but then I would go back to the bathroom later because I didn't notice it was happening because I wouldn't like check the toilet, because like who checks the toilet after you take a shit, right? So I would just get done wiping, and go back, and then I'd come back and I'd see the shit on the rim of the seat, and I'd be like, who the fuck does that? But then I thought about it later. I was like, wait a minute, that was me. So yeah, I mean that's not crazy, but when you think about it, it's like, wow, I must have been pretty high. And then, you know, sometimes when I stop smoking weed, I do crazy stuff too. Like, I'll try to quit smoking weed. I'll just get so anxious. One time I was at college, I was just like, you know, I think the best thing to do right now is just write an essay about how all women are actually dykes at the school and that they all need to respect me more. And then even the guys too need to respect me more. I wrote an essay about that and then put it online. But that was when I wasn't high, but I probably should have been high. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I've definitely taken edibles with friends and gone to an amusement park like Busch Gardens. That's really fun. We also like had a dab pen that we used while we were there, so we were pretty high. And then I've definitely like smoked weed and gone out with my friends around the city, and like a girl peed on my shoe, but I don't remember it. But usually when I smoke, it's just staying at home and relaxing, eating.
I guess the craziest thing I've ever done is be high for like a year straight. I spent all of 2017 through 2018, like making a year total, high, in which wake up every day, smoke out of a huge bong, and then go straight to work and work about a 10 or 11 hour shift, in which I would smoke right when I got there also, in the middle, towards the end of my shift, and right after my shift, and then would go home and smoke more. But also during this, I worked as a line cook in a kitchen, and so I would be doing like handling the dinner rush completely stoned out of my mind. So I want to say going to my job every day and doing a kick-ass job also. That was a good part, because I was high for all of it. I still did good work. So stoners can be productive, just not the best thing to do.
What is the most weed you've ever smoked?
The most weed I've ever smoked. Again, I'm pretty tame, almost lame. Probably through a vaporizer in the very, very early days when it was like a big, huge box with chambers. You had to suck and suck and suck and suck, and then eventually you got those vapors. Now we've got pens, people are smoking them all over the place, but yeah, so not a whole lot. I'm a lightweight when it comes to all these things, so you're not going to get a whole lot of exciting answers from me about this stuff. Tuesday nights back home, the best story I've ever been told in my life is the show Lost. And my roommate and she and I would grab a bong, one of my 5 bongs that I had. I had one that was a glow-in-the-dark bong, I had, dragon bong, all these different things. And Tuesday nights we would smoke out of one of my bongs. I would drink some port wine, we'd eat some chocolate, we'd watch Lost, and we'd have a great time. So, however much you can fit into a bowl, I don't know, a gram or 2, something like that, maybe.
I usually don't smoke crazy amounts because once I get to my high level, I just chill. But I had these gummy bear edibles that I don't know the exact dosage, but I took 20 of them. That was fun. So I'd say that's probably about like 250 milligrams, 200. I like built up to it. Like I took 2, and then an hour later took 2 more. Like I kind of like trained myself for it. So I was cognizant, but I was very high, and it was fun. Eventually, I like just passed out.
Oh, the most? Well, me and my friends maybe smoked like a Q at once, and we had 2 brownies also, yeah, while we were at his lake house. That was like sophomore year of high school, maybe. No, maybe junior year. I forget. I think junior year, actually, yeah, junior year. Yeah, that was fun. Because, you know, when you're in high school, you live with your parents, so you can't just, like, smoke, like, 24/7. Not that I do that, but, like, you can't really do that at your parents' house. But then we're like, what if we just go to this other house for, like, a day and just smoke a lot and then eat weed brownies and make weed brownies? And then that's what we did. It's not like, maybe there's some, oh yeah, there were some funny moments. Alright, I'll tell some funny moments from the night. One of my friends wanted to play Jenga, and he set up the whole Jenga thing, and then he's like, alright, let's do it. And then he kind of just passed out on the table and didn't even start playing. And then I went to like get a glass of water at one point, and then just decided to fall asleep on the floor. I was like, you know what? This is just more comfortable, guys. See you later. So yeah, we all just kind of were passing out a lot because like we just smoked like we didn't really smoke that much, and then we smoked a lot. So yeah, that was fun. And yeah, good times.
The most I've ever smoked was at a music festival, and I smoked about like a full gram of a dab through a nectar collector. It was one of those little glass straws that was just like a giant curl, and I kept heating up the end and just touching it down to the dab and just like, this is fine, I'll just do more. And now I can't do dabs anymore because they're just too much. Oh my god, I like, couldn't move. It was too much. I was like plastered in one of those, what are those called, when you have the folding chairs. I was just in a folding chair for like a solid 3 hours without having moved.
4 blunts in the edible. I had 4 blunts in the edible. I was like, I usually smoke 2 blunts most of the time, but I took my cousin had like that purple haze stuff. We just smoked 4 blunts, and I was just like, what is this shit? He says that's our rapper weed, and I was like, oh, this shit killing me. I was gone. I felt heavy. I felt good, but I felt really, really heavy. I felt like the whole world was like a calm space, and I was just happy the whole time.
That's a good question. I didn't think of that. Okay, most I've ever smoked. So it would be like, I would smoke like 8 blunts a day and be high all day, or like 9 blunts, or there's like literally 6 blunts in rotation at one time. So I guess, I don't know, the most I ever smoked, I guess in a day, if I'm saying, would be maybe like 12 blunts equivalent of weed. But I've also taken breaks from weed before. That's why I'm like, I don't feel bad about being a stoner, because I know like I'm not technically addicted or anything. Like I've gone 2 months and just not smoked, and then went back to smoking all the time. It's like I know I can stop whenever I want. I just don't want to. That is great.
I can show you the fattest blunt I've ever smoked. And it was fairly recently. Maybe about 2.5 to 3 weeks ago. My homie got off of probation and was like, yo, I want to get high. I was like, alright, cool. I got a half. Come on by and I'll roll you up. He was like, nah, you're gonna do more than that. I was like, what you mean? Like, half ounce, how much you trying to smoke? He was like, well, I got 1 ounce and this is all going in the air. I was like, alright, give me 20 minutes, I'll make a call. I'll be on over there. I get to his house. He has 12-inch raw papers. Long, a foot long. Like, I wasn't prepared for this. He also bought activated oil. He had maybe about 1 gram of keef and maybe about 1.5 grams of shatter. And I was like, yo, bro, I want to roll 2 foot long blunts. None of them can roll blunts. I had to. So what we did was, each blunt was like a ½ ounce at least. Like, it's combed out. I had to use 2 sheets to make it wide enough to wrap around. And inside of the weed, we had made little dabs, if you will, dabbles of the activated oil, and then we stretched out the shatter and rolled it in a circle and laid that around it and rolled all the weed. So it was like amazing. But then after we rolled it, he was like, yo, bro, let's put oil and keef around the blunt. I'm like, okay. We did that. Those blunts lasted for 4 hours. I was so high, I walked into his door while looking at his door and reached for the knob. I misjudged the distance and smacked my... Never again. Or maybe not when I have to do stuff.
What does marijuana do for you?
It gives me a good vibe. It takes a lot of stress away. With all the shit that's going on in the world and school for me and all that, it takes a lot of stress away. It makes me feel like I'm in a space, a really, really good time. The food tastes better, and music sounds a lot better when you're high. A lot better. Trust me, if you want to do it, try it. It's music, food. If you want to go to a party, it's a nice vibe. Parties especially. If you're high in a party, you're having a good time. House parties, ghetto parties, soca parties especially. I went to Miami Carnival. The woman is there is beautiful, beautiful woman. Yeah, mostly soca parties, house parties, Ultra Festival. I always wanted to go to those parties and stuff, but I never got to. But it's always a good time. But I'm usually high at the parties.
I mean, I usually just use, I guess I use a lot now, I'm just so bored sometimes, like, well, cause I work like 2 or 3 times a week, and then, well, the other days I sometimes do comedy, or like I saw Rich Shapiro the other day. He's sort of famous, like, underground comic, so sometimes I'll see comedy shows or do the comedy shows, and then, but if I'm not working or anything or had anything to do, it just cures boredom, sort of. Yeah.
Pretty good question. Well, first and foremost, smoke when I'm upset. So, it helps me balance out those times. I also use it, I smoke right before I go to bed. I used to take a lot of sleep aids. It was the poster child for those types of medications. You're a mom that can't handle you. When I smoked to go to sleep, I got off all my medicine. So I smoke my weed. I smoke weed in place of what I used to take pills for. I like to be high. Like, it makes everything better, man. Like, there's nothing like listening to some Eminem when you're smacked. Like some old Eminem, or just like music that you really fuck with. Just like eating fucking ice cream, or standing in your kitchen and sitting in front of the fridge and it's like, yo, what can I come up with? And then you just disassemble an ice cream sandwich and smack 2 Rice Krispie treats together on top of that shit. You're like, oh.
Like the other day, dude, I was so high. I went into the store and I was like, it was 1 in the morning. Can I get a bacon, egg, and cheese? We ain't got no rolls. And I was like, you got cocoa bread though. One of the best creations I've ever come up with. Oh, bacon, egg, and cheese on cocoa bread. Yo, if you're watching this, go get a bacon, egg, and cheese on cocoa bread. Please. For me, marijuana definitely makes me more horny, so I use it a lot when I like have sex with people. It definitely makes me a lot more aware of my surroundings because I'm able to I get very, not self-conscious, but self-aware of where I am, what other people are doing, and so I feel like I can take in the world better almost. And it relaxes me, it makes me sleep real fast, so that's so helpful. But it's just a really fun feeling to be high.
What does marijuana do for me? Again, I'm a really spiritual person, so not religious, but I am spiritual. So God to me is this life, and it's the source of everything. So it's a sort of kind of, it's not the same thing as meditating, but it's a similar space. And so marijuana for me, I don't know, it's like, I guess it's not exactly the same thing as meditation, but it hits that reset button that meditation does. Helps me find my center and relax and breathe and just appreciate what life is. So, yeah, that's pretty much what weed does for me.
Definitely makes me a lot more relaxed and open and more talkative. Could feel more flowy. A lot of times it just helps with pain because I feel pain in most of my body all the time, and so it helps me deal with that and helps me not think about it as much. If I want to go out dancing or go to the club or something, it's nice to smoke before, so I don't feel as inhibited. I don't really care even less than I already do about who's watching or what people think. But it does have a adverse effect that sometimes I don't have full spatial awareness and I can bump into people. And sex, it's definitely my libido goes down. And it's more difficult to focus during sex because the mind is racing and thinking about 12 other things rather than what's actually happening, but it's not a deterrent by all means.
For me, it calms me out. I feel like I have anxiety, so it's something that helps my anxiety, helps with depression for me as well, and just also I feel like it helps me connect to my spirit. It puts me in a place where I'm just in a very calm state of mind. I feel like I'm able to be more meditative, more introspective, just more easily because my mind tends to race. So for me, that's what it is. It's my little chill pill.
What are you doing on 420?
I actually have a casting I'm going to be going to on 420, so I'm going to go to that. Then afterwards, I'm going to be spending time with my two best friends, and we're just going to smoke, enjoy, and be together,
For 420, this year, like every year, I am going to live my life, and at the end of it, smoke a bowl before I go to bed. So this year it means I'll be a professor in a short film and then go to sleep.
So for 420, I will be attending events and helping the masses in New York State, or in New York, the tri-state area, as Doofenshmirtz would say, obtain their medical marijuana card. I help manage a company that helps people in New York and Florida get their medical marijuana cards legally, and at a 25 to 40% discount versus going by yourself. We help pre-screen you, pre-qualify you, and it will cost about $250, but 3 weeks later you get your medical marijuana card in the mail. New York State Department of Health certified.
Yeah. I'm smoking 5 blunts with my friend. And I'm gonna smoke a lot, maybe, I'm gonna go 5 blunts, eat something, but I'm gonna smoke 5 blunts, chief it, it's gonna be me and my friend. He smokes like that, but I'm probably gonna smoke the most. And we're probably just gonna have to go to a restaurant, eat good food, and smoke again after that.
Well, see, here's the thing. I smoke a lot. I told you, so it's like an everyday thing. So like, you know, it's not the best thing in the world. I know, but then a holiday like 420, where like if you don't smoke, you're like, I gotta smoke on 420. But if you already smoke all the time, it's like it's not really a holiday. It's just like a Tuesday. So yeah.
I don't have any plans for 420 yet, which is really sad because I should celebrate it in some way. This will be my first, like, that's false. I was gonna say it's my first year as a stoner, but I guess that was technically last year. But I guess it's my first time as like an independent stoner. So I'll have to think of something to do. Maybe like 20 gummy bears.
I don't have any plans for 420 because I don't make any plans ever, because I'm terrible at making plans. I imagine I'm not gonna do anything that special, honestly. If anything, I'm probably gonna like smoke at exactly 420 and call that it. I'm not gonna treat it like that big of a deal.
What kind of stoner stereotype do you fit and why?
I definitely fit the like lazy or sleepy stoner, because every time I smoke I just want to be a couch potato, and I just want to like curl up in a ball and cuddle, and I don't want to like do anything. I'm not about to like go start an argument or go like run and do something, even if it's a sativa, because I'll just want to lay down. I just want to be comfy. That's the main goal. Comfort is key. Always remember that, even in fashion, because you can make it work.
A lot of stoners usually feel less motivated when they work. Do you usually get this way?
Extremely. I can, like, if I smoke, I can work. Like, last semester, I did a lot of my writing and essays when I was high because it worked for me. But this semester, I've realized that, like, when I get high, I do not want to do anything else except, like, relax and enjoy the high. So, yeah, no, I cannot smoke and work. Or if I do, it has to be like I know that I can do the work while I'm high.
What's the most amount of work you've done while being high?
Writing like a 3-page essay, but 3 pages is not much. I tried to write like a 6 to 8 page essay when I was high, and I couldn't do it. I just could not.
How are you?
Pretty good, you know. I get jobs a few times a week, so that's pretty good. Oh yeah, I'm in the union now. I do some, besides the background, some independent stuff, like short film stuff. It could be better, but like the acting life, it's a long grind, so you gotta just, sometimes it's boring, but, you know, sometimes if you're starting from the bottom of any industry, the bottom might be a little bit boring. That's what it's like. Yeah, probably just been doing a lot of thinking, you know, since I'm kind of, you know, since it's just work and it's different people. Since I'm doing background, I'll go into set. It's a different group of people on each set. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to meet people who are your friends. Oh yeah, I'm going to do a summer acting program thing, 6-week thing, probably, with Terry Knickerbocker. She said I was admitted. She didn't give me the details yet. One of the, this is droning too long. But yeah, so maybe this summer I'll make a few friends. I don't know. We'll see. I'm somewhat hard to get along with sometimes, you know? I just run my mouth a lot. Maybe I smoke too much and then it's like there's no filter. But I'm trying to do a little bit better, you know? You know, first step, acknowledge some of the mistakes. You know, you already heard my story about the toilet. I acknowledged that mistake. There's probably many others where I just didn't know what was going on and just talk too much. That's what life's like. But I mean, still doing pretty good. Still got a long life ahead. So yeah.
What kind of weed are you smoking?
I like that green weed, that green crack weed. I love that shit. I hate Reggie. I hate Dove. I smoke, if it smells really good, I'm gonna smoke it. Purple Haze, I'll smoke it. Cause it's really smoky. Purple Haze is like different weed. And sometimes I smoke that colored weed. I had colored weed before, and I always put Fonto with it and stuff. But I mostly have people roll for me most of the time. But I still know how to roll a little bit. I'm still new to it. But you know, maybe Purple Haze, green crack, THC, sativa, indica. No, I think indica's the one that make you a little chill. And sativa's the one that make you a little like crazy. That's why they told me to smoke shop. So I was like, okay, I know exactly what I'm gonna get. Don't get the one from the smoke shop because it's trash. That shit smells ass.
You can buy weed from the smoke shop.
No, I was like, the hell, you got weed in the smoke shop? The hell? Like, yeah, we do. I'm like, okay. That shit was nasty. That shit almost made me puke. I was like, oh hell no. That shit was disgusting.
What's the craziest thing you've ever eaten while high?
The Leaning Tower of beef patties. We're talking about a quadruple deck, heartburn inducing, spicy, diarrhea causing, like, all around indigestion, and a big beef patty. It was a beef patty that was in cocoa bread, and I was really fucking stoned, so my bright ass had the idea of adding mozzarella cheese, cheddar cheese, ketchup, mayonnaise, and probably some other stuff that I'm forgetting because it was a while ago, to form a transformer of a beef patty. It was a beef patty as thick as the Harry Potter Goblet of Fire book. Like, that thick. Look at that. See that? See that? That's a big beef patty. I tried to, you know, you bite it, but it wasn't working. There was too much resistance. I took 3 bites of that shit and threw it away. Tasted good, but it immediately gave me heartburn. And it hit me like, it was so thick that I needed Bev so bad. Like, after the first bite, I got choked like Jody from Baby Boy. Like, where that Bev at? Like, where you? I couldn't breathe. Couldn't hit me like a Popeye's biscuit. Don't go to the store while too high, and don't food shop. Don't do that while high, especially if you got food stamps. Don't. You're gonna get stupid shit, bro. Who the fuck needs a 32 pack of Gogurt? It was good though. I am high once again.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome. You got me. Oh, that Mace song was fire. I do like that. Welcome back. Alright, I'm done.
what is the difference in quality of weed from back then until now?
What is the difference in quality of weed from when I was first starting and now? When I first started smoking weed, it was all, and the vernacular's changed a lot over time, but it was like Meccy, or like swag, we called it. It's like not, like you have to smoke a lot of it to maintain any kind of high, and then you can get like a weed headache from it because it's not really great. When I moved to California, just kind bud everywhere. We call it chronic. And it's the sticky icky, like purple hairs, orange crush, purple haze, whatever it's being called at the time. But it's sticky, and you can smell it and feel it. And that's a higher, it's been shocked, the plants have been shocked into doing that. And I know that when my parents were smoking weed, that was not the case. They had to roll and smoke and smoke and smoke and smoke. So, for the most part, most of my life, I've been smoking the really good bud, and that has not changed.
Recently, you've told me about adding herbs into your blunts. Tell me about how you found out about that and how it changes your experience being high.
For me, it was something I came across years ago just from my love of nature. I'm very much big on connecting with the earth, going green, anything I can do. So I love plants. I'm a big plant mom. I love it. So I was really into herbs, learning more online, and I learned just about how they could affect the mind and body and help when you add them to your blunts. So different herbs can help with like calming you or help with, clearing negative energy, different things like that. So I started adding them in there, like lavender or rose.
Any final messages you want to give to our viewers?
I think the culture around marijuana in the U.S. is entirely fucked up because it was just criminalized in, the early 1900s just to incarcerate black men, and it completely detached it and severed it from all the medicinal qualities it had in the past and the huge history it had being used as a medicine before that, just because they wanted to criminalize and antagonize black men in this country. And I think that's why it's such a large problem today, is because it's really just fighting large problem meaning the legalization of marijuana, when it's really just fighting the institutionalized racism in this country and its policies and politics and all that jazz. I'm pretty lucky to be able to just talk freely about it, living in a time where it's way less criminalized. The most important thing about weed is knowing how it works for you and knowing what you can take and what you can work with, because if you don't know your limits and you don't know how to control yourself, then weed can easily spiral into something bigger than it should be. But if taken with caution and knowing yourself, then go for it.
Well, I guess if anybody sees this and they're judging me and they're saying you shouldn't be smoking too much, I already kind of know that. I'll try to cut back maybe at some point. Oh, right at the camera. Yeah. I don't know, because I don't really think it cures cancer. A lot of people think the weed cures cancer or whatever. Like it might be getting legalized, but that has nothing to do with curing cancer. I think it's probably still a drug. Not best to be doing it all the time. So yeah, just be careful out there, kids. And don't judge too hard.
Follow your dreams. Never let nobody tell you you can't do it. If you're scared to smoke weed, that's your choice. But if you want to smoke weed, try it. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do it. With parents and school, you don't have to be a doctor or a lawyer to be great. Just other thing. If you want to do something else, do it. School's cool and all, but if you think that you want doesn't need school, do it. Don't let nobody tell you you can't do it. And always, chase what you feel that's what's right. Do what you feel is right. Don't do what people just tell you. Oh, don't do this. This is wrong. This is right. You should do this. Nah, if you do this, you're gonna do this. Nah, don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. And just love yourself and love everybody else. Too much hate in the world is going on in the world. and just, yeah, just follow your dreams.
First off, smoking weed is not as bad as your parents or your grandparents think it is. Everybody has a stigma or something to say about smoking bud, and it's not that. It's a plant, and it just grows like that. And if you set it on fire, there are some effects versus taking pills. That's what I used to do. I was prescribed Ritalin, Adderall, Concerta, and things like that when I was a kid because I couldn't pay attention in school or, couldn't behave or whatever the case was. And, yeah, I was given opiates, methamphetamines and full-on hard drugs. Whereas if somebody were to just, talk to me, and then it doesn't have to be that way, but every year it goes that way. And weed is a better alternative to things like that. It's a sleep aid and things like that. It helps with appetite, headaches. It's 100 ways that bud could help you. All I'm saying is, if you smoke responsibly and pay attention to what you put in your body, because not everything that the doctor gives you is good for you.
Well, I'm assuming everybody watching this is someone that smokes, or I don't know, someone in a government agency that's trying to keep track of everybody who smokes or something. I don't know. So, yeah, I guess with regard to weed, it's probably the safest, most conducive to peaceful human existence of all of the drugs you can do. And it's a plant. I mean, it's not even, I don't even think of it as a drug in some ways, because it's just something that grows. And half of the population is walking around with chemicals that have been concocted to make them better adjusted to our sick society. So it's no measure of health. It's no measure of your health adjusting to a sick society, is what said. So yeah, I don't feel like that about everybody and everything. We're all just people, and we're all just going through stuff. But weed, pretty much all the things that I've experimented with, the interesting thing is I got amazing visceral experiences out of them, and because I am a spiritual person, I walked away with a certain understanding. With most of the things that I have tried, I was going to end up with that understanding whether I had done the drugs or not. And weed's a little different, because weed is just this plant that it's not like a shock to your system like hallucinogens are. It's just a nice soft reset button that helps you relax and appreciate life. And if you're me and you're older, go to sleep.
I would say to really use bud for what it's worth. I would say a lot of people, I feel like, just get high to get high, and of course it's fun and we love to do it, but it can also be something that can kind of take you on a journey to a really special place. Like if you really ride that wave and that journey of being in that frequency of being high, you can really learn so much about yourself, or just experience a whole new world of just sensory, output and input, just from letting yourself be a part of it instead of just being like, oh, I'm high, and leaving it there. So I say dig in, when you get high, be a part of that experience. Do some high shit, color, really look at the vibrancy of colors. Let it inspire you. Make art, do things, have a random cipher with your friends, rap, whatever, sing, use it.
Tonight on Dateline.
if you look at somebody like Tupac, for example, he got shot 4 times and then he went to the hospital. And then in the hospital, they didn't have any weed. Tupac smoked weed all the time, all day, like all day. So then he doesn't have any weed in the hospital. So he's just thinking all day, just lying there thinking. Then he somehow comes up with that Biggie was the one who tried to rob him. But he was going to visit Biggie. I don't think Biggie was trying to rob him, but he just got so paranoid up in there because I guess he stops. Weed can ease your anxiety, sort of, but it also builds your anxiety at the same time. So when you stop smoking weed, your anxiety builds a lot faster, and then you don't stop the anxiety. So he just got really crazy with anxiety and thought Biggie wanted to kill him when Biggie was like sort of his friend.
I'm addicted to RKOs. What's that?
Don't forget your disclaimer.
Right. Don't fight people though. Fighting is not good. I am not encouraging any kind of violence, physical behavior, anything. I would not recommend it. I'm just saying, don't let anybody come up to you while you're high, because chances are you're going to take it as a video game challenge. And who turns down a video game challenge? Nobody.
What are you doing?
Getting an inception photo.
What does marijuana do for you?
You asked that? What does marijuana do for me? You sure? How high am I? I don't remember an answer for that one. I'm a cat.
Hi, I'm Karen. I'll be here hosting you today.
Karen from finance?
I love cats a lot. That's it. I love cats.
What could that have been? Like, what did that sound like? Afterburners? Or like a big thin sheet of metal?
Yeah, that's what I thought that was, but it's highly improbable. Like that's what that actually was.
A car sideswiping something?
Maybe.
Who the hell has fireworks? What are we doing, guys? It's April. What is this? Fucking Friday. That's what it is. What is what? Somebody found a box of fireworks and something from July 4th of last year. I was like, yo, I bet you they still work.
Fireworks? That was not on my list at all.
That's fucking great, yo. That's why I love New York. You never know.
It was intended for amusement purposes only.